This house is mine. Marcus screamed in Victoria's face, spit flying. His hands shoved her hard, she stumbled backward, heels catching on marble. Everything here is mine. You're nothing. 50 guests stood frozen champagne glasses halfway to their mouths. Camilla descended the stairs, wearing Victoria's diamond earrings, laughing. Finally, get the freeloader out. 2 security guards grabbed Victoria's arms. Phones came out, flashing cameras. Marcus leaned close, breath hot with alcohol. You are always worthless. A mistake I'm correcting. They dragged her toward the door. Victoria's phone buzzed in her clutch. One text. Dad, it's time. Don't worry, this house, I own it. I own everything. Before we continue, subscribe right now if you believe karma is real. Stay until the end because what happens next will shock you. Comment what city you're watching from. I want to see how far this story reaches. You won't believe what happens in the next 2 hours. Victoria hit the wet pavement outside the gates. Her suitcase landed beside her. 1 suitcase. 2 years of marriage, 1 suitcase. The iron gates slammed shut. Through the bars she saw them. Marcus and Camilla silhouetted in the doorway, kissing. The party continued inside. Music, laughter, like she'd never existed. Her phone rang. Sweetheart. Dad's voice steady as stone. Are you out? I'm out. The words scraped her throat raw. Good. Car's there in 3 minutes. Get in, don't argue. Dad. Victoria, trust me. 3 minutes. The call ended. Victoria sat on her suitcase in the rain mascara running cocktail dress soaking through. Her hands shook. From cold, from rage, from something she couldn't name. Headlights cut through the darkness. Black Mercedes. The driver opened an umbrella, helped her up without speaking, opened the door. Where? Mr. Chen's orders, ma'am. She got in. Down. Inside the mansion, Marcus poured champagne over Camilla's head. She shrieked with laughter as it ran down her white dress, Victoria's white cocktail dress from Paris, the one Marcus said was too expensive. To freedom, Marcus shouted. The 50 guests cheered awkwardly. Some had already left. Others filmed everything social media gold. Camilla grabbed his face. You really did it. You actually threw her out. Should have done it months ago. He kissed her hard. God, I feel alive. No more pretending, no more boring dinner conversations about books nobody reads. She really thought she belonged here. Camilla's eyes glittered. Teaching literature for $40,000 a year, living in this house, wearing my jewelry. Your jewelry now, baby. Marcus bit her neck. Everything's ours now. His mother, Isabella, pushed through the crowd. Marcus, we need to talk, now. Mother, I'm celebrating. Now. Her face was white. About the house. What about it? He was annoyed. High on victory, on Camilla's perfume, on finally being free. Did you read your lease, the actual lease? I bought this house 3 years ago. What lease? Isabella opened her mouth. Closed it. Nothing. Never mind. She walked away fast. Too fast. Marcus shrugged, pulled Camilla closer. Old people worry about everything. Come on, let's go upstairs. Kristen, every room. They disappeared up the stairs, leaving 50 uncomfortable guests, making excuses to leave. The hotel room was cold, sterile. Victoria stood under the shower until the water ran icy. When she emerged, there was food waiting. Soup, bread, tea, a note in Dad's handwriting. Eat, sleep. Tomorrow we work. I love you. She tried, managed 3 bites. Her phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Sarah, Vic, oh my God, I saw the video. Ashley. Girl, are you okay? That was brutal. Unknown number. You probably deserved it, LOL. Unknown number. Karma for marrying for money. Unknown number. Where did he find the blonde, though? Video. There was a video. Victoria opened Instagram. There it was. 200,000 views already. Millionaire throws wife out during party. You won't believe what she did. The comments, she must have cheated. He looks so relieved, LMAO. The mistress is gorgeous. Poor guy finally escaped. Gold digger got what she deserved. Victoria threw the phone across the room. It hit the wall. Cracked. She didn't care. She lay in the dark, staring at the ceiling, replaying every moment. Every sign she'd missed. Every time Marcus said, "You wouldn't understand." Every time he dismissed her opinions, her feelings, her existence. Every time Camilla smiled at her like a shark. Sleep came in broken pieces. Back. The phone rang at 6 a.m. Hotel phone. Only one person had this number. Get dressed. Professional, gray suit. The one from your thesis defense. Dad, I can't. Victoria. Steel wrapped in velvet. Gray suit. Lobby. 25 minutes. Today you see something new. Today you see me work. Click. She got up, gray suit. Hair back, minimal makeup. She looked in the mirror and saw herself again. Not Marcus's wife. Not the woman in the wet dress. Herself. 24 minutes later, she stood in the lobby. Dad's car pulled up. Not the Mercedes. A Honda Civic. He got out wearing khakis and a button-down. No tie. He looked ordinary. Forgettable. He hugged her. Ready? For what, yeah? You'll see. They drove in silence. Victoria couldn't take it anymore. Dad, Marcus owns everything. Lawyers, money, connections. I signed a prenup. I walked away with one suitcase and… When you married Marcus, James interrupted. Did you ever see the house deed? What, no? Why would I… Did he ever say where he bought it? He said he'd owned it for years, his achievement, his dream house. She paused. Why… James smiled, not kind, dangerous. Because your husband's been renting that house from me for 3 years. He never owned it. He never owned anything. The car lurched, or maybe that was Victoria's brain. What? The house, Marcus doesn't own it. Never did. He leases it from JC Holdings, James Chen Holdings, me. But how you never said, I never told you what I actually do. James pulled into a parking structure. Underground. The sign above read, Chen Properties. Dad, Victoria. He parked, turned to face her. I own 62% of commercial and residential real estate in this city. This building. The building where Marcus has his office. The mall where Camilla shops. The parking garage where Marcus keeps his Porsche. The gym. The country club. The restaurant where he proposed to you. Victoria couldn't breathe. I keep it quiet. That's how I work. Shell companies, LLCs, management firms, nobody knows. That's the point. He got out. Marcus Sterling built his entire life on property he rents from me. Last night, he made the biggest mistake of his life. He hurt my daughter. Now I hurt him. Legally. Completely. Permanently. You own everything. Not everything. Enough. They took a private elevator to the 15th floor. The doors opened onto elegant offices. A receptionist smiled. Good morning, Mr. Chen. Mr. Patterson's waiting. Inside the conference room, a distinguished man in his 50s stood. Ms. Chen, I'm Robert Patterson, your father's attorney for 20 years. Shall we discuss how to dismantle your ex-husband's life? For 2 hours, they laid it out, every piece. Patterson opened folders, pulled up spreadsheets. Marcus Sterling, age 35, owns Sterling Development, LLC. Assets total approximately $12 million. Liabilities total $11.8 million. Net worth $200,000, maybe. But he drives a Porsche. He has the mansion. He financed, leased, borrowed, rented. Patterson clicked through images. The Porsche leased through Premium Auto Group. Your father owns 40%. The mansion rented from JC Holdings. Your father, his office leased, his second office leased, his furniture leased, his art collection on loan from galleries your father has stakes in. Marcus Sterling is a house of cards, and last night he lit the match. Victoria stared at the spreadsheets. He has nothing. His company has potential, but it's leveraged to the ceiling. One wrong move, it collapses, and we're about to make several wrong moves happen. Patterson smiled. Legally. James leaned forward. I knew Marcus was like this before you got engaged. I ran a background check. I came to you, remember? Victoria did, vaguely. You said he seemed fake. I got mad. Said you were overprotective. You said you loved him, that he made you happy. So I stepped back. But I also made sure that if things fell apart, you'd land safely. Every property he leases from me has special clauses. Clause 47B specifically. Any documented evidence of domestic abuse, emotional cruelty, or infidelity on the premises automatic lease termination. No appeals, immediate eviction. He humiliated me. On camera. 500,000 views by now. Documented evidence, breach of contract. He's done. Patterson pulled out his tablet, showed the video. Marcus shoving her, calling her worthless. Security dragging her out. Camilla laughing, the guests filming. Victoria watched herself hit the floor. Watched the cruelty in Marcus's eyes. Watched Camilla wear her earrings like a trophy. Something crystallized inside her. Hard. Sharp. Permanent. What do we do? James stood. We go get our house back. And we teach Marcus Sterling that actions have consequences. Dad. They arrived at the mansion at 11 a.m. James pressed the intercom. Static. Then, yeah. James Chen, property owner, here to discuss lease termination with Marcus Sterling. I have police escort and legal counsel. Open the gate. Long pause. Mr. Sterling's sleeping. Come back. Open the gate or I call the police to open it for me. You have 30 seconds. 20 seconds later, the gates buzzed open. Victoria's heart hammered as they walked up the long driveway. Behind them, Patterson and 2 police officers followed at a respectful distance. The front door opened. Camilla stood there in Victoria's silk robe, hair messy, barefoot. When she saw Victoria, her lip curled. You've got nerve. This isn't your house anymore, sweetie. Actually, James said calmly, it's my house. You're trespassing. Camilla laughed, sharp, mocking. Sure, old man, sure. Marcus Victoria brought her pathetic daddy to beg. Footsteps on the stairs. Marcus appeared in expensive pajamas looking irritated. When he saw them, confusion flickered across his face. Harold, did you really bring the police because you're upset? God, Victoria, you're more pathetic than I. It's James. Victoria's father stepped forward. And I'm here to give you this. Patterson handed Marcus a thick envelope. Marcus opened it smirking. The smirk died. His face went white. This is an eviction notice. For my house. My house, James corrected, that you've been renting for 3 years. Renting. Camilla's voice went shrill. Marcus, what is he talking about? You told me you owned this place. I do own it. I bought it. Marcus was scanning the documents, hands shaking. This says JC Holdings owns. No, I paid. I've been paying. This is my house. You've been paying rent, Patterson said. 2 months behind, actually. And you violated Clause 47B of your lease agreement. The morality clause. The what? Last night you publicly humiliated your wife, Mr. Chen's daughter, on these premises. In front of 50 witnesses. 23 posted video evidence on social media. Clear violation. Lease terminated. You have 24 hours to vacate. Marcus stared at James. Really looked at him for the first time. You own this house. I own this house. The land under it, your office building, your parking garage, the bank that financed your cars, the country club you joined, the restaurant where you proposed to my daughter. James's voice stayed calm, lethal. I am the foundation Marcus Sterling was built on, and right now I'm pulling that foundation out from under you. Camilla made a sound like a dying animal. Marcus, tell him he's wrong. Tell him you're a millionaire. Tell him you own things. I thought him. Marcus's voice broke. I paid. I worked. I built my company. I made deals. You borrowed, James said. Shell companies, management firms. You never looked at who actually owned what. You saw your name on leases and assumed ownership. Ownership and rental are very different things, Marcus. You're about to learn that. Marcus looked at Victoria. You knew. You knew this whole time. I found out this morning. Victoria, please. He came down the stairs, desperation replacing arrogance. We can fix this. I'll pay. I'll do anything. Please, I love you. You have 24 hours, Patterson interrupted. All personal belongings removed. Anything left becomes property of the owner. Here's your copy of the eviction notice lease termination and the original signed agreement from 3 years ago with the violated clause highlighted. Camilla grabbed Marcus's arm nails, digging in. Tell him he's lying. Tell him you're rich. Tell him. Marcus couldn't speak. He stared at the papers like they were written in a foreign language. James turned to Patterson. His office lease terminated as of 9 a.m. Security's been notified. His car's repossession orders filed. They'll be collected by end of day. His country club membership revoked. He was sponsored by Westlake Properties. We own Westlake. Each word was a hammer. Marcus's legs gave out. He sat hard on the stairs, Victoria's stairs, where they'd taken wedding photos, and put his head in his hands. This will ruin me, he whispered. Yes, James said. It will. Camilla backed away slowly, a realization dawning. You lied to me. Her voice turned to ice. You said you were worth millions. You said you owned everything. You're broke. You're a fraud. I thought I was... Marcus looked up, tears streaming. I worked, I built... You built nothing, Camilla screamed. You're pathetic, you're less than nothing. She ran upstairs. They heard drawers slamming, things breaking, cursing. Marcus looked at Victoria. Please, God, please, I'm sorry. I was stupid. I was arrogant. I thought I had control. We can fix this. We can start over. We can't fix anything, Victoria said. Her voice was calm, empty. You humiliated me. You called me worthless. You laughed while they dragged me out. You made her wear my jewelry. You celebrated my pain. There's no coming back from that. I'll change. I swear. 24 hours, James said. Pack, leave, and Marcus. Next time you assume someone's beneath you because they don't flash their wealth, remember this moment. Real power doesn't announce itself. It just is. Camilla appeared with 3 suitcases. She moved fast, didn't look back. At the door, she stopped, turned. By the way, Marcus, your business partner called this morning. Something about pulling his investment after seeing the video. Have fun being poor. The door slammed. Tires screeched. She was gone. Marcus sat on the stairs, broken. Victoria, please. But Victoria was already walking away. Through the foyer. Past the living room where they'd hosted dinners. Past the kitchen where she'd made him breakfast. Out the front door. James followed. The police officers confirmed service. Patterson made notes. They got in the car. Wait, Victoria said suddenly. Stop. She got out, walked back to the door. Marcus looked up, hope blooming on his face. Victoria reached into her purse, pulled out a folded check, handed it to him. First month's rent for a studio apartment, 1 bedroom, modest. My father taught me to help people, even people who don't deserve it. She walked away. Marcus looked at the check. $500. Behind her, she heard him start to cry. Really cry. Not the tears of anger or frustration. The tears of a man who'd lost everything and finally understood what he'd actually had. The gates closed. This time, Victoria was on the right side. Sen, by 6 p.m., the internet exploded. Tech CEO evicted from mansion he never owned. Millionaire husband, actually broke, rented everything. Karma man who humiliated wife gets destroyed. The eviction video leaked. Probably one of the cops. It went more viral than the first video. 5 million views in 3 hours. The comments were savage. The dad is a legend. Quiet billionaire energy. Never underestimate the quiet ones. Marcus's face when he realizes that's what you get for being cruel. Marcus's business partners called. Tersely worded emails arrived. By 9 p.m., 3 major clients pulled their contracts. By midnight, Sterling Development LLC was trending on Twitter. Marcus Sterling. Karma is real. Quiet billionaire. Camilla posted a statement. I was deceived by someone who misrepresented their financial status. I am also a victim. The internet tore her apart. Girl, you were laughing while his wife got dragged out. You wore her jewelry. Victim, you're just mad he's broke. Gold digger mad the gold was fake. Victoria sat in her hotel room watching it all unfold. She didn't feel happy, didn't feel vindicated, just tired, empty, free. Her phone rang. Sarah. Vic. Oh my God, are you seeing this? He's destroyed. His company's tanking, Camilla's getting death threats, and your dad. Girl, your dad is like a secret superhero. How did you not know? He never told me, he just lived quietly. That's the most badass thing I've ever heard. He's like Batman, but with real estate. Victoria laughed. It felt strange. Good, strange. What now? Sarah asked. I don't know. I'm not who I was yesterday. That woman died on that marble floor. I'm someone new now. Good, because you were never small. You just married someone who needed you to be. After they hung up, Victoria stood at the window. The city glittered below. Somewhere Marcus was packing boxes. Somewhere Camilla was finding her next mark. Somewhere the mansion sat empty. Her phone rang. Dad. How are you? Okay, actually okay. Good. Question. The mansion. It's yours if you want it. You could move back, make it yours properly. No husband, no performance. Just you. Victoria thought about it. The house where she'd been humiliated. The house where she'd felt invisible. Could she reclaim it? Can I think about it? Take all the time you need. Pause. Victoria, I'm proud of you. You could have stayed, tolerated it, convinced yourself it was fine. But you walked away with your dignity. That takes real strength. Dad. Her voice cracked. I'm sorry I didn't listen when you warned me. You loved him. Love makes us hopeful. There's no shame in that. The shame is his for not deserving it. After he hung up, Victoria lay in bed thinking about the woman she'd been 2 days ago. That woman had been so scared of being worthless, so desperate to prove she belonged, that she'd let herself shrink. Fade. Disappear. That woman was gone. And maybe that wasn't such a bad thing. Maybe you have to lose everything to find out who you really are. Maybe karma really does come for everyone. And maybe, just maybe, the quiet ones are the ones you should fear most. Because they're not quiet from weakness. They're quiet because they don't need to prove anything. They already own everything. The next morning, Victoria woke to her phone exploding. Not the cracked one from the hotel room. The new one her father had delivered at midnight with a note. Same number, fresh start, 63 missed calls, 217 texts. Her email inbox had collapsed under the weight of interview requests. Good Morning America wants you. Ellen's people called. TMZ is offering $50,000 for an exclusive. Victoria deleted them all. She showered, dressed in jeans and a sweater, her clothes not the designer things Marcus had bought her, and went downstairs. The hotel restaurant was quiet. Early. She ordered coffee and toast. Her phone rang. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer. Victoria Chen. A woman's voice. Professional. Cold. Yes. This is Amanda Foster from Sterling Development. I'm calling to inform you that your husband, excuse me, your ex-husband came into the office this morning at 6 a.m. He's been terminating employees. Apparently the company is filing for bankruptcy. Several of us are wondering if you have any information about what's happening, because frankly, it's chaos here. Victoria's coffee stopped halfway to her mouth. He's firing people. 23 so far, including people who've been here for 8 years. He's in his office right now screaming at someone about lawyers. Amanda's voice cracked. Mrs. Chen, some of us have families, kids, mortgages. Is there anything you can tell us? Anything at all. Victoria closed her eyes. Those people didn't deserve this. They'd worked for Marcus, trusted him, built his company with him. I'm sorry, she said quietly. I don't know anything about the business, but Amanda, document everything. Save every email. Record every conversation if your state allows it. If he's retaliating or firing people illegally, you'll need proof. Thank you. Amanda hung up. Victoria stared at her phone. This wasn't just Marcus losing his house anymore. This was Marcus burning everything down and taking innocent people with him. Her phone rang again. Dad. Turn on channel 7. Now. Victoria pulled up the live stream on her phone. A reporter stood outside Sterling Development's office building, the building James owned. Developing story this morning as Marcus Sterling, the tech entrepreneur, whose dramatic divorce went viral this week, appears to be shutting down his company. We've confirmed that at least 24 employees were terminated this morning without warning. Sterling himself has not responded to requests for comment, but sources inside the company say he's blaming his estranged wife for his financial troubles. We'll continue to follow this story throughout the day. He's blaming me? Victoria's voice rose. I didn't do anything. He threw me out. I know, James said calmly, which is why his lawyer just called mine. Marcus wants to meet. Today. He says he'll vacate the property peacefully if you agree to a sit-down. Absolutely not. That's what I told Patterson. But Victoria, there's something you should know. Marcus filed a lawsuit this morning. Against me. Claiming I manipulated you into marriage to gain access to his business connections. It's insane and it'll get thrown out, but it'll drag on for months and cost you money and make this messier than it needs to be. Exactly. Victoria gripped the phone tighter. What do you want me to do? I want you to decide. This is your life, your choice. I'll support whatever you want. She thought about Marcus on those stairs. Broken. Crying. Was there any part of him that deserved a conversation? Or was this just another manipulation? I'll meet him, she said finally. But not alone. You come with me. And Patterson. And I want it recorded. Every word. Done. 2:00. My office. I'll have security there. After he hung up, Victoria sat in the empty restaurant and tried to eat her toast. It tasted like cardboard. Everything tasted like cardboard now. Her phone buzzed. Text from a number she didn't recognize. You ruined my life. I hope you're happy. Then another gold-digging bitch. Another, you deserve everything that happened to you. Victoria blocked them. More came. She turned off her phone. Across the restaurant, she noticed someone staring. A woman in her 40s, phone out, taking pictures. Victoria stood up, left cash on the table, and walked out fast. Behind her, she heard the woman say, "Oh my God, that's her, the wife from the video." She made it to the elevator before the tears came. Back in her room, she called Sarah. I can't do this. I can't leave the hotel. People recognize me. They're taking pictures. Marcus is suing my father. He's firing innocent people. This is a nightmare. Okay. Listen to me. Sarah's voice was firm. You didn't ask for any of this. Marcus did this. He threw you out. He humiliated you. He built his life on lies. You're just the one who survived it. Don't let him make you feel guilty for his choices. He's destroying people's jobs, Sarah. People with families. And that's on him, not you. You didn't make him fire anyone. You didn't make him sue your dad. You didn't make him be a fraud. He did all that himself. Victoria wiped her eyes. I have to meet him today. At Dad's office. Want me to come? No, but thank you. She took a breath. I need to do this myself. Okay, but Vic, don't let him manipulate you. He's good at that. Remember why you're there. I will. After Sarah hung up, Victoria looked at herself in the mirror. She looked tired, older, but something else too. Stronger maybe, or just done with being weak. She got dressed. Black pants, white shirt, simple, professional, armor. At 1:45 p.m., she walked into Chen Properties. The receptionist smiled warmly. Ms. Chen, your father's expecting you. Conference room B. Inside, James and Patterson were reviewing documents. Her father looked up. You okay? No, but I'm here. That's enough. He squeezed her shoulder. Remember, you don't have to say anything you don't want to. This meeting is a courtesy. Nothing more. At exactly 2:30 p.m., Marcus arrived. He looked terrible, unshaven, Red eyes, wrinkled shirt. He'd aged 5 years and 2 days. With him was a lawyer Victoria didn't recognize. Young, nervous, probably cheap. Marcus's eyes found Victoria immediately. "Thank you for seeing me." She didn't respond. They all sat. Patterson hit record on 2 separate devices. For the record, this meeting is being recorded with full knowledge of all parties. Today is October 15th, 2:00 p.m. Present are... Can we skip the formalities? Marcus interrupted. Please, I just want to talk to my wife. Ex-wife, Victoria said. Her voice was ice. Marcus flinched. Right, ex-wife. Victoria, I need you to understand something. I never meant for any of this to happen. I was stupid. I was arrogant. I made terrible choices. But I'm losing everything. My company, my reputation, my life, and You're losing what you never really had, James said quietly. Let's be clear about that. Marcus's lawyer cleared his throat. Mr. Chen, my client, is willing to drop the lawsuit if certain conditions are met. What conditions? Patterson didn't look up from his notes. First, Mr. Chen drops all eviction proceedings and lease terminations. Second, Ms. Chen signs a statement saying she was not coerced or manipulated in any way during the marriage. Third, Mr. Sterling receives a 6-month grace period on all rent payments to rebuild his business. The room went silent. Then James laughed. Actually laughed. You're joking. My client is facing financial ruin because of actions taken by... Your client, Patterson interrupted, is facing consequences of his own behavior. He violated his lease agreement. He committed documented emotional abuse. He destroyed his own reputation, and now he wants us to fix it. He looked at Marcus. Is that really what you came here to ask? Marcus leaned forward. Victoria, please. I know I hurt you. I know I was cruel. But if you do this, if you let your father destroy me completely, you're no better than I am. Victoria felt something snap inside her. No better than you. You threw me out in the rain. You humiliated me in front of 50 people. You called me worthless. You made your mistress wear my jewelry. You laughed while security dragged me across the floor. And now you're sitting here telling me that if I don't save you, I'm the bad person. I'm apologizing. What more do you want? I want you to take responsibility. I want you to stop blaming me for your choices. I want you to understand that actions have consequences. Her voice rose. You fired 23 people this morning, Marcus. 23, people with families, people who trusted you, because you can't handle the fact that you're not who you pretended to be. I fired them because I can't pay them, Marcus shouted. Because your father destroyed my business, because you never had a real business, James said. His voice cut through the room like a blade. You had debt, leverage, smoke and mirrors. The first strong wind that came along, it all collapsed. That's not my fault. That's not Victoria's fault. That's yours. Marcus's lawyer tried again. Mr. Chen, surely we can reach some agreement. We can, Patterson said. Mr. Sterling has 22 hours remaining to vacate the property. All personal belongings removed. Anything left behind becomes property of the owner. That's the agreement. You're really going to do this? Marcus looked at Victoria. You're really going to let them destroy me? I'm not letting anyone do anything, Victoria said quietly. You destroyed yourself. Marcus stood up abruptly. Fine, fine. But when I'm on the streets, when I've lost everything, when my life is over, I want you to remember this moment. I want you to remember that you could have helped me, and you chose not to. I'll remember, Victoria said. I'll remember that you had a wife who loved you, a home, a life, and you threw it all away for someone who left you the second she found out you were broke. I'll remember that you had everything that mattered and you didn't even know it. Marcus stared at her. For a moment, something flickered in his eyes. Regret, maybe. Understanding. Then it was gone. Let's go, he told his lawyer. They left. Victoria's hands were shaking. James put his arm around her. You did good. I don't feel good. You don't have to. You just have to be honest. Patterson gathered his files. For what it's worth, that lawsuit's going nowhere. It's a desperate move by a desperate man. But Victoria, you should prepare yourself. This is going to get worse before it gets better. Marcus is going to fight. He's going to try everything he can to blame you to make himself the victim. The media is going to eat it up. Let them, Victoria said. She was surprised by how calm she sounded. I know the truth. That's enough. But it wasn't enough. Not even close. By 4 p.m., Marcus had posted a statement on social media. I'm being destroyed by a vindictive ex-wife and her billionaire father, who I never knew existed. They deceived me throughout our marriage, hid their wealth, and are now using it to ruin me. I made mistakes, but I don't deserve this. No one does. If you believe in second chances, please share this. It got 50,000 shares in 2 hours. The comments were split. This is sus, bro. You literally threw her out. But why did she hide that her dad was rich? Something's off about both sides. Rich people playing games with normal people's lives. Victoria watched it spread like a virus. Her phone started ringing again. More interview requests. More strangers weighing in on her life like they knew anything. Sarah called. Don't read the comments. Seriously, don't. Too late. Vic people are idiots. They don't know what happened. They just want drama. Some of them think he's right. That I deceived him by not telling him about my father. Your father's wealth isn't your identity. You didn't owe Marcus that information. He never asked about your family. He just assumed you came from nothing because you were a teacher. Victoria knew Sarah was right, but it didn't stop the sick feeling in her stomach. At 6 p.m., her father called. Turn on Channel 7 again. The same reporter from this morning stood outside the mansion. Behind her, a moving truck was parked in the driveway. Marcus Sterling is currently removing his belongings from this mansion, which we've now confirmed he never actually owned. Our sources say the property belongs to real estate magnate James Chen, father of Sterling's ex-wife, Victoria Chen. This adds another layer to an already complicated story. Sterling maintains he was deceived during his marriage, while the Chen family has not commented publicly. What we do know is that by tomorrow morning, Sterling will be officially homeless. The camera panned to show Marcus carrying a box to the truck. He looked directly at the camera. This is what happens when you trust the wrong people, he said. I built a life. They destroyed it. Remember that. The reporter tried to ask a question, but Marcus got in his car and drove away. Victoria felt numb. He's really playing the victim. Of course he is, James said. It's all he has left. His money's gone, his reputation's gone, his relationship's gone. The only thing he can do is try to control the narrative. Is it working? Pause. Some people believe him. Most don't. But Victoria, you need to prepare for this to get uglier. How much uglier can it get? She found out at 8 p.m. Camilla posted her own statement, with receipts. Since everyone wants the truth, here it is. She'd posted screenshots, text messages, between her and Marcus, dating back 6 months. She's so boring, like talking to a wall. I can't wait to be done with this marriage. The house will be ours soon. Just a few more months. Victoria doesn't suspect a thing. She's too naive. Hundreds of messages. All of them cruel. All of them calculated. All of them proving that Marcus had been planning to leave Victoria for months. That he'd been lying the entire time. That Camilla had been in on it from the start. But the last screenshot was the bomb. A text from Marcus to Camilla dated 2 weeks ago. Once I divorce her, her father will probably try to help her, which means he has money. We can use that. Get close to him. Get information. There's an angle here. Victoria read it 3 times. Marcus had planned to use her father too, to exploit his wealth. This wasn't just about falling out of love. This was premeditated, calculated, evil. The internet exploded. Okay, now I am Team Victoria. He was planning this. Camilla really posted the receipts, OMG. Marcus Sterling is trash. This man is a sociopath. Within an hour, Marcus's statement had been deleted. His social media accounts went private. The narrative had shifted completely. Sarah called crying with laughter. Camilla just destroyed him. Why would she do that? Because he's broke, Victoria said quietly. She doesn't need him anymore. So she's getting her moment in the spotlight before she moves on to the next one. That's cold. That's Camilla. Victoria should have felt vindicated. The truth was out. Everyone could see what Marcus really was. But she just felt tired. So tired. Her phone rang. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer. But something made her. Hello, Ms. Chen. This is Rosa from the house. Victoria sat up. Rosa, are you okay? Yes, I'm fine. I just wanted to tell you something. Mr. Sterling, he left an hour ago. But before he left, he went into your old office, the one where you used to read, and he took something. What did he take? Your grandmother's locket, the gold one you kept in your desk drawer. I saw him put it in his pocket. I tried to stop him, but he said it was his property. Everything in the house was his property. But I know that's not true. I know it was yours from before the marriage. Victoria's blood ran cold. That locket was the last thing she had from her mother's mother. The only family heirloom she owned? Marcus knew that. He knew exactly what he was taking. Thank you for telling me, Rosa. I'm sorry I couldn't stop him. I'm so sorry. It's not your fault. Victoria hung up and immediately called her father. He stole from me, my grandmother's locket. Rosa saw him take it. James was quiet for a long moment. That's theft. Do you want to press charges? Did she? Pressing charges meant more court dates, more lawyers, more media attention, more of her life becoming public property. But that locket was all she had left of her grandmother. The woman who'd raised her mother, the woman whose stories had comforted Victoria after her own mother died. Yes, she said. Press charges. Done. I'll call Patterson now. By 10 p.m., the police had issued a warrant for Marcus Sterling's arrest for theft. By 11 p.m., he'd been picked up at a motel on the outskirts of town. By midnight, his mugshot was trending on Twitter. Victoria turned off her phone, took a sleeping pill, and tried to sleep. But all she could see was Marcus's face. Not the cruel face from the party. Not the broken face from the meeting. The face from their wedding day. Young. Happy. Full of promises. Had any of it been real? Had he ever loved her at all? Or had she been a prop in his performance from the very start? She didn't know. She'd probably never know. And maybe that was the worst part of all. Marcus made bail by 3 a.m. His mother Isabella posted it. $50,000. Victoria found out when Patterson called at dawn. He's out. But there's a restraining order in place. He can't contact you. Can't come within 500 feet. If he violates it, he goes back to jail immediately. Okay. Victoria's voice was hoarse from crying herself to sleep. There's something else. His arraignment is set for Friday. That's 3 days from now. The prosecutor wants to know if you'll testify. About the locket. About everything. The abuse, the humiliation, the theft. They're building a case that goes beyond one stolen necklace. Victoria, this could put him away for a while. But only if you're willing to stand up in court and tell the truth. She closed her eyes, more cameras, more strangers judging her, more of her pain becoming entertainment. I'll do it. Good. I'll let them know. After Patterson hung up, Victoria lay in bed staring at the ceiling. Her phone buzzed. Text from an unknown number. You're destroying a good man. I hope you can live with yourself. Another, Marcus was right about you. Gold digger. Another, your 15 minutes are almost up, sweetie. Enjoy them. She blocked them all. More came. She turned off her phone. Someone knocked on her door. Room service she hadn't ordered. A tray with coffee eggs toast. A note from her father. Eat. You need strength. Love, Dad. She tried to eat. Managed half. Everything still tasted like nothing. At 9 a.m., Sarah showed up with a suitcase. I'm staying with you. Don't argue. I already told my boss I'm working remotely this week. Sarah, you don't have to. Shut up. You're my best friend. You're going through hell. I'm staying. She dropped her suitcase and hugged Victoria hard. Besides, someone needs to make sure you eat actual food and not just hotel toast. They spent the morning watching terrible reality TV and not talking about anything real. It helped, sort of. At noon, Victoria's phone rang. Dad, turn on the news, Channel 7. Victoria grabbed the remote. The reporter was back, but this time she was standing outside a police station. In a shocking turn of events, Marcus Sterling was arrested again this morning, just 9 hours after making bail. According to our sources, Sterling violated his restraining order by attempting to contact his ex-wife, Victoria Chen, via multiple phone numbers and social media accounts. He's currently being held without bail pending his Friday arraignment. Sarah's jaw dropped. He what? Victoria felt cold. Those texts this morning, I thought they were from random people, but they were from him. Oh my God, Vic, how many? I don't know, 20, 30. I kept blocking them. Her phone rang. Patterson. Victoria, did Marcus contact you this morning? Yes, maybe 30 texts from different numbers. I blocked them all. Did you save them? I blocked them. I don't know if... Check your blocked messages. Now. We need every single one for evidence. Victoria opened her settings with shaking hands. The blocked messages folder had 47 texts, all sent between 6 a.m. and 8 a.m., all from different numbers, all from Marcus. You ruined my life. I gave you everything and you destroyed me. Your father is a monster and so are you. I'll make sure everyone knows what you really are. You'll regret this. I promise you'll regret this. The last one sent at 7:58 a.m. I'm coming to get what's mine. Victoria's hands went numb. He threatened me. Forward them all to me, right now. Every single one. Patterson's voice was sharp. This isn't just restraining order violation anymore. This is harassment, potentially criminal threatening. He just made this so much worse for himself. After she forwarded everything, Victoria sat on the bed shaking. Sarah wrapped a blanket around her shoulders. He's losing it, Sarah said quietly. Completely losing it. He threatened to come get what's his. What does that mean? It means he's desperate and stupid. But you're safe here. The hotel has security. Your dad's people are watching. Marcus can't get near you. But Victoria didn't feel safe. She felt exposed, vulnerable, like any moment Marcus might appear. Her father arrived 20 minutes later. He took one look at her face and pulled her into a hug. He can't hurt you. I won't let him. He's getting worse. What if He's in jail, without bail, he's going nowhere. And on Friday, he's going to face a judge who's not going to be sympathetic to a man who threatened his ex-wife hours after being released. Victoria wanted to believe him, but something felt wrong, like a storm building just out of sight. At 2 p.m., Isabella Sterling called. Victoria almost didn't answer. Please, Isabella said. I know you have no reason to listen to me, but I need to tell you something. About Marcus, about our family, Mrs. Sterling. He wasn't always like this. When he was young, he was kind, gentle. But his father, my husband, he pushed Marcus so hard. Nothing was ever enough. Every achievement was met with, you could do better. Every success was followed by, don't get comfortable. When Marcus's father died 5 years ago, something broke in Marcus. He became obsessed with proving he was successful, with showing the world he'd made it. Why are you telling me this? Because you deserve to know you didn't imagine it. There was a good man in there once, but he got lost. And I'm sorry. I'm so sorry I didn't speak up when I should have. At your wedding, I saw red flags. The way he dismissed you. The way he talked about you when you weren't around. I should have said something. Victoria's throat tightened. What did he say about me? Silence. Then, he said you were convenient. Pretty enough. Acceptable. He said you didn't ask too many questions and that made you perfect. Isabella's voice broke. I should have warned you, but he was my son. And I wanted to believe he'd changed. That love would fix him. But you can't love someone into being a better person. They have to want it themselves. Thank you for telling me. There's something else. Marcus called me from jail an hour ago. He was ranting, not making sense, but he said something that worried me. He said they think they've won, but I still have the ace. I don't know what he meant. But Victoria, please be careful. When Marcus gets cornered, he gets dangerous. After Isabella hung up, Victoria felt sick. The ace, she repeated. What does that mean? James was already on his phone. I'm calling Patterson, and I'm increasing security. Whatever Marcus is planning, we're going to be ready. But they weren't ready. Not even close. At 4 p.m., a video appeared online, posted from an account called Truth About Victoria. The video was 17 minutes long. It was Marcus, filmed in what looked like his car before his arrest. I'm making this video because the truth needs to come out. Victoria Chen married me knowing exactly who her father was, knowing he was a billionaire, knowing I was renting property from him. This was a setup from the beginning. They targeted me, used me, and when I'd served my purpose, they destroyed me. Victoria's stomach dropped. Marcus continued. I have proof. Emails between Victoria and her father discussing me, discussing my business, discussing how they could leverage the relationship. I have text messages where Victoria admits she knew about the lease agreements. I have recordings of conversations where she laughed about me not knowing who her father really was. This wasn't karma. This was a con, and I was the mark. The video cut to screenshots, emails, text messages, supposedly between Victoria and her father. But they were fake. They had to be fake. Victoria had never sent those emails, never had those conversations, except they looked real. The email addresses looked right. The text message format looked authentic. The dates aligned with their relationship timeline. Sarah grabbed Victoria's hand. Those are fake. I know they're fake, but how do we prove it? The video had 50,000 views already. The comments were vicious. I knew something was off about this story. She played him the whole time. Rich people games, poor people lose. They're both trash, TBH. Victoria's phone rang. Dad, those documents are fabricated. Patterson's already analyzing them. We'll prove they're fake. But the damage is done. People believe him. They think Victoria, listen to me. The truth will come out, but right now I need you to stay calm. Don't respond. Don't post anything. Let our lawyers handle this. How did he fake those documents so well? Money, desperation. Probably hired someone who specializes in this kind of thing. But there will be metadata. Digital fingerprints will prove it's false. But would they prove it in time? The video was spreading like wildfire. By 6 p.m., it had 200,000 views. By 8 p.m., 500,000. News outlets picked it up. New twist in viral divorce case was Victoria Chen running a con. Victoria's phone wouldn't stop ringing. Interview requests. People she hadn't spoken to in years asking for her side. Strangers demanding answers. She turned off her phone, sat in the dark hotel room, tried to breathe. Sarah sat beside her. This is going to blow over. When they prove those documents are fake, but what if they can't prove it fast enough? What if this is the story people remember? Then we make them remember something else. Victoria looked at her. What? You've been quiet this whole time. Dignified. Taking the high road? And that's admirable. But maybe it's time to tell your side. Really tell it. Not through lawyers, not through court documents. You want me to go public? I want you to stop letting Marcus control the narrative. Victoria thought about it. About speaking out. About putting her face on camera and telling the truth. Not the edited version. Not the sanitized version. The real version. I wouldn't even know where to start. Start with the truth. Sarah squeezed her hand. Start with what really happened. People are smarter than Marcus thinks. They'll know who to believe. At 10 p.m., Victoria made a decision. She called her father. I want to do an interview. A real one. I want to tell my story. James was quiet for a moment. Are you sure? Once you do this, you can't take it back. I'm sure. Marcus has been controlling the narrative since the night he threw me out. It's time I took it back. Okay, I'll set it up. But Victoria, we do this right. Professional journalist, recorded properly, no ambush questions. You control the conversation. Deal. By midnight, it was arranged. A respected journalist named Catherine Walsh, known for fair reporting. No sensationalism. The interview would be filmed tomorrow at 2 p.m. Victoria barely slept. She kept rehearsing what she'd say, how she'd explain, how she'd make people understand. At 6 a.m., she gave up on sleep and took a shower, got dressed. Simple clothes, minimal makeup. She wanted to look like herself, not a character in someone else's story. Sarah made her eat breakfast. Toast, eggs, coffee. It still tasted like cardboard, but she forced it down. At 10 a.m., Patterson arrived with news. We've analyzed Marcus's documents. They're definitely fabricated. The metadata shows they were created 2 days ago, not when they're dated. The email addresses are spoofed. The text messages are from a paid app that generates fake conversations. We have proof. How long until you can make it public? We're filing motions now. Should have a statement out by end of day. But Victoria, you should know something else. Marcus's lawyer quit this morning. Just quit. Walked away. Said he couldn't represent someone who was fabricating evidence and harassing witnesses. So Marcus has no lawyer. Not anymore, which means he's going into Friday's arraignment alone, against a prosecutor who's building a case for harassment, theft, fraud, and now evidence tampering. He's looking at serious time. Victoria should have felt relief, but she just felt hollow. He did this to himself. Yes, he did. At 2 p.m., Victoria sat across from Catherine Walsh in a hotel conference room. 2 cameras, 3 lights, a glass of water she couldn't drink because her hands were shaking. Catherine smiled warmly. Whenever you're ready. Victoria took a breath, looked directly at the camera. My name is Victoria Chen, and I want to tell you what really happened. For the next hour, she told everything. The party, the humiliation, her father's reveal, Marcus's threats, the fake documents, the harassment. She didn't cry, didn't perform, just told the truth in a steady, calm voice. Catherine asked careful questions. Never accusatory, never leading, just giving Victoria space to speak. What do you want people to know? Catherine asked finally. Victoria thought about it. I want them to know that abuse doesn't always look like violence. Sometimes it looks like dismissal, like being told you're worthless so many times you start to believe it. Sometimes it looks like a man who builds his life on lies and then blames everyone else when it falls apart. She paused. And I want people to know that walking away doesn't make you weak. It makes you strong, even when it's the hardest thing you've ever done. The interview ended at 3:30 p.m. Catherine hugged her. You're very brave. I don't feel brave. That's usually when we're bravest, when we're terrified and we do it anyway. The interview aired at 8 p.m. Within an hour, it had 1 million views. The comments shifted again. Okay, now I believe her. And the way she talks about it, that's real trauma. Marcus Sterling is a monster. She's so composed, I would have lost it. Patterson called at 9 p.m. It's working, public opinion is swinging back, and Marcus's fake documents are being torn apart by every news outlet. He's done. But Victoria didn't feel victorious. She felt exhausted, wrung out, empty. Sarah ordered pizza. They ate it in silence, watching bad TV, not talking about anything that mattered. At 11 p.m., Victoria's phone buzzed. Text from an unknown number. I saw your interview. You were right about me. I'm sorry. Victoria stared at it, blocked the number. She didn't care if it was really Marcus or another fake account. She was done. At midnight, she finally fell asleep, and for the first time in a week, she didn't dream about him at all. Friday morning arrived cold and gray. Victoria dressed in a navy suit her father had delivered the night before. Professional, composed. Nothing Marcus could use against her. Sarah helped with her hair. You ready for this? No, but I'm going anyway. The courthouse was surrounded by news vans. Reporters everywhere. Cameras, microphones. Victoria's father had arranged a side entrance, but even that had a small crowd. Miss Nidhi Chen, how do you feel about today? Victoria. Any comment on Marcus's statement? Is it true you're pressing additional charges? Patterson guided her through quickly. Inside the courthouse was quieter, institutional, cold. They waited in a small room. Victoria, her father, Patterson. Sarah had wanted to come, but Victoria said no. This was something she needed to do with just family. At 9:45 a.m., a bailiff knocked. They're ready. The courtroom was packed, every seat filled. Victoria recognized some faces: reporters, Marcus's former business associates, people who'd been at the party. Isabella Sterling sat in the back looking small and broken. Marcus was already at the defendant's table. He'd lost weight. His suit hung wrong. His eyes found Victoria immediately. She looked away. The judge entered. Everyone stood. Judge Catherine Morrison, 50s, sharp eyes, no-nonsense reputation. "Be seated." She looked at Marcus. "Mr. Sterling, I understand you're representing yourself today." "Yes, Your Honor. My attorney quit and I couldn't afford—" "I'm aware. I strongly advise you to request a public defender." "I don't need one. I'm innocent." Judge Morrison's expression didn't change. "Very well. Let's proceed. Mr. Sterling, you're charged with theft violation of a restraining order, criminal harassment, and evidence tampering. How do you plead? Not guilty on all counts, Your Honor." The prosecution may present their case. The prosecutor stood. Melissa Rodriguez, young but fierce. She'd called Victoria twice to prepare. "Your Honor, the state will prove that Mr. Sterling stole a family heirloom from Miss Victoria Chen violated a restraining order by contacting her 47 times in 2 hours, criminally harassed her with threatening messages and fabricated evidence to destroy her reputation. We have witnesses. We have documentation. We have proof of Mr. Sterling's systematic campaign to harm his ex-wife because she refused to enable his delusions." Marcus shot to his feet. "Delusions, I'm the victim here? They set me up? Mr. Sterling." Judge Morrison's voice cut like ice. "Sit down. You'll have your chance to speak." Marcus sat. His hands were shaking. Rodriguez called her first witness, Rosa Martinez, the housekeeper. Rosa walked to the stand slowly, nervously. She avoided looking at Marcus. "Ms. Martinez, you worked at the property Mr. Sterling was leasing. For how long?" 3 years, ma'am. "And on the night of October 14th, you witnessed Mr. Sterling take something from Ms. Chen's office." "Yes. A gold locket from her desk drawer. I saw him put it in his pocket." "Did you say anything?" "I tried. I said, 'Mr. Sterling, that belongs to Mrs. Chen.' He said everything in the house was his property and I should mind my business." "Did he seem agitated?" "Very. He was throwing things, breaking things, cursing." "Thank you. No further questions." Marcus stood. "Ms. Martinez, how much is James Chen paying you to lie?" "Objection?" Rodriguez was on her feet. "Sustained. Mr. Sterling, accusations without evidence will not be tolerated." Marcus's face flushed red. "She's lying. I never took that locket. Victoria probably has it, and she's just trying to—" "Mr. Sterling, sit down. Now." He sat, but his jaw was clenched. Furious. Rodriguez called her next witness, the phone company representative. He testified about the 47 text messages, all from different prepaid phones, all purchased with Marcus's credit card. "So Mr. Sterling bought 47 prepaid phones in one day?" "No, ma'am. He bought 5 phones, but he used a service that masks phone numbers." Each text appeared to come from a different number, but they all originated from the same 5 devices. And those devices were registered to Marcus Sterling. Marcus jumped up again. "I was trying to apologize. She blocked me. I just wanted to explain, Mr. Sterling." Judge Morrison slammed her gavel. "One more outburst, and I will hold you in contempt. Do you understand?" "Yes, Your Honor." But his eyes were wild, desperate. The tech expert was next. He explained the fabricated documents, the metadata, the spoofed emails, the fake text messages. "In my professional opinion, these documents were created on October 16th using commercially available software designed to create fake text conversations and emails. None of them are authentic." Marcus tried to cross-examine. "But how do you know they're fake? Maybe Victoria deleted the real ones and these are reconstructions." "Because the metadata doesn't lie, Mr. Sterling. These files didn't exist until 3 days ago. They couldn't be reconstructions of deleted files because the original files never existed in the first place." "You're wrong. You're all wrong. Mr. Sterling." Judge Morrison looked at him. "I suggest you stop talking." Rodriguez called her final witness, Victoria. Victoria walked to the stand. Her legs felt like water. She was sworn in, sat down, looked out at the courtroom and saw all those faces staring at her. Rodriguez approached gently. Ms. Chen, can you tell us what happened on the night of October 13th? Victoria took a breath, told it all again. The party, Marcus's announcement, being dragged out, the rain, her father's call. And when you left the house, did you take your grandmother's locket with you? No, I didn't know I was leaving until security grabbed me. I took nothing except my phone. And the locket, where was it? In my desk drawer, in my office. The room Marcus never went into because he said my books were boring. A few people in the courtroom laughed. Judge Morrison shot them a look. They stopped. Ms. Chen, did you know your father was wealthy when you married Marcus Sterling? I knew he was comfortable. I didn't know the extent of his holdings. My father lived modestly, drove an old car, wore regular clothes. He never discussed his business with me because he wanted me to have a normal life. Did you ever discuss Marcus's lease agreements with your father? No, I didn't even know Marcus was renting until 2 days after he threw me out. Did you set up Marcus, target him, conspire with your father to destroy him? No, I married Marcus because I loved him. Or I thought I did. I married who I thought he was, not who he turned out to be. Rodriguez showed Victoria the fabricated emails. Are these real? No, I never sent these. I never had these conversations. Thank you, Ms. Chen. Your witness, Mr. Sterling. Marcus stood, walked toward her. Victoria's heart pounded. You really expect everyone to believe you didn't know your dad was rich? I knew he was comfortable, not wealthy. That's convenient. Really convenient. It's the truth. The truth. Marcus laughed. Bitter. You want to talk about truth? The truth is, you used me. You let me think I was somebody. Then you and your father humiliated me in front of the entire city. You humiliated yourself, Marcus. You threw me out. You called me worthless. You stole from me. You threatened me. I didn't do any of that. You did. Because you lied to me. I never lied to you. You never asked about my family. You assumed I came from nothing because I was a teacher. You saw what you wanted to see, and when reality didn't match your fantasy, you blamed me. Your Honor, Rodriguez started. I'll allow it, Judge Morrison said. She was watching Marcus carefully. Marcus leaned closer to Victoria. Too close. You destroyed my life. No, you destroyed your own life. I just survived it. Something in Marcus snapped. You think you're so perfect, so innocent. But I know things. I know about your father's business, the shady deals, the offshore accounts. I know... Mr. Sterling. Judge Morrison's voice was sharp. Step back from the witness. I know everything, Marcus was shouting now. And if I'm going down, I'm taking them all with me. Your father's not some saint, he's... Bailiff. 2 officers grabbed Marcus. He fought them. Actually fought them. Let go of me. She needs to hear this. Everyone needs to hear this. They dragged him back to his table. He was breathing hard, wild-eyed, completely unhinged. Judge Morrison stood. We're taking a recess, 30 minutes. Mr. Sterling, you will compose yourself or you will be removed from this courtroom. Is that clear? Marcus didn't answer. He just stared at Victoria with pure hatred. They led Victoria out through a side door. She was shaking. Her father grabbed her. Are you okay? He's lost his mind, completely lost it. Patterson was pale. That outburst just sealed his fate. The judge saw him threaten you, saw him become violent. There's no coming back from that. Sarah had snuck in during the recess. She hugged Victoria hard. You were amazing, strong. He looked like a maniac and you looked calm and truthful. But Victoria didn't feel calm. She felt terrified. Marcus's eyes, the hatred in them. What if he tried something? What if he can't hurt you? Her father said firmly. He's going to jail, today. After what the judge just saw, there's no way she's letting him walk. They waited in the small room, drank coffee that tasted like poison. Victoria's hands wouldn't stop shaking. At 11:30, they were called back. The courtroom was tense. Marcus sat at his table, calmer now, but still vibrating with rage. He didn't look at anyone. Judge Morrison entered. Everyone stood, sat. Mr. Sterling, after what I witnessed before the recess, I have serious concerns about your mental state and your threat level to Ms. Chen. However, I will allow you to present your defense if you can do so calmly and respectfully. Can you do that? Yes, Your Honor. Then proceed. Marcus stood, walked to the center of the courtroom. Your Honor, I know I lost my temper. I apologize. But you have to understand what I've been through. I built a life. I worked hard. I thought I had everything. Then in one night, it was taken from me. My wife, my home, my business, everything. And nobody asked my side. Nobody cared that maybe I was the victim. He turned to face Victoria. I loved you, I really did. But you made me feel small, like I was never enough. Your father's money had hung over us like a shadow. I didn't know about it then, but I felt it. I felt like I was always being judged, always coming up short. Mr. Sterling, Judge Morrison said, is this going somewhere? Yes, Your Honor. I'm saying I made mistakes. Bad mistakes. I was cruel, I was stupid. I took the locket because I was hurt and angry, and I wanted her to feel what I was feeling. I sent the text because I was desperate. I made the fake documents because I thought if I could just prove I wasn't the only bad guy, people would see my side. He paused. I'm not asking for sympathy. I'm just asking for understanding. I lost everything. I snapped, but I'm not a monster. I'm just a man who made terrible choices when his world fell apart. The courtroom was silent. Rodriguez stood. Your Honor, Mr. Sterling just admitted to every crime he's charged with. Theft, harassment, evidence tampering. He's confessed to all of it. I know what I did. Marcus's voice rose again. I'm trying to explain why. The why doesn't matter, Judge Morrison said. The what matters. You stole, you harassed, you fabricated evidence, you violated a restraining order. And 30 minutes ago, you threatened a witness in my courtroom. She looked at him. Mr. Sterling, I've seen a lot of defendants in my career. Some are truly evil. Some are just broken. You, I think, are broken. But that doesn't excuse your behavior. It doesn't make your victim any less harmed. So that's it. Marcus's voice cracked. I lose everything I go to jail. My life is over. Your life isn't over. But this chapter of it is. Judge Morrison looked at her notes. Mr. Sterling, I find you guilty on all counts. Sentencing will be in 2 weeks. Until then, you will remain in custody. Bail is denied. No, please. Your Honor, please. The bailiffs moved toward him. Marcus looked at Victoria one last time. I hope you're happy. I hope this is everything you wanted. I never wanted any of this, Victoria said quietly. I just wanted to survive you. They led Marcus away. He didn't fight this time. He just walked shoulders, slumped, defeated. Victoria felt numb. It was over. Really over. But she didn't feel victorious. She just felt empty. Her father hugged her. Sarah cried. Patterson shook her hand. You did it. It's over. But was it Marcus was going to jail? But the damage was done. Her name, her privacy, her life. All of it public property now. Forever linked to a man who destroyed everything he touched. They left through the side entrance. The reporters were waiting. Ms. Chen. How do you feel about the verdict? Victoria, what's next for you? Any message for Marcus Sterling? Patterson held up a hand. Ms. Chen has a brief statement. Victoria stepped forward. Cameras clicked, microphones pushed closer. Today, justice was served. Not because I wanted revenge, but because actions have consequences. Marcus Sterling made choices, bad choices, cruel choices, and today he faced the consequences of those choices. I hope this sends a message to anyone who thinks they can abuse, harass, or manipulate their partners without accountability. You can't. The truth always comes out. And dignity in the end wins over cruelty every single time. She turned to leave. One reporter called out, "What about forgiveness? Do you forgive him?" Victoria stopped, turned back. Forgiveness isn't something you give someone because they ask for it. It's something you give yourself when you're ready to stop carrying their poison. Am I there yet? No, but maybe someday. When I'm healed enough that his actions don't define my story anymore. They got in the car, drove away, left the courthouse behind. Sarah squeezed Victoria's hand. You were perfect. I don't feel perfect. I feel tired. That's allowed. You just survived something most people couldn't. Victoria's father drove them back to the hotel. On the way, her phone buzzed. Text from Isabella Sterling. Thank you for not destroying him completely. He's my son. I still love him, but he needed to face consequences. You were braver than I ever was. Victoria didn't respond, but she saved the message. Back at the hotel, they ordered room service, Chinese food. They ate in silence, watching the news coverage of the trial. Every channel had a different angle, but they all agreed Marcus Sterling was guilty. Victoria Chen was vindicated. At 8 p.m., Victoria's father stood. I should go. Let you rest. Dad, thank you for everything. For protecting me even when I didn't know I needed protecting. James hugged her. That's what fathers do. We watch, we wait, and when our children are in danger, we act. I just wish I'd acted sooner. You acted at exactly the right time. After he left, Sarah made tea. They sat on the couch, not talking, just existing in the same space. What now? Sarah asked finally. I don't know. I need to figure out who I am without Marcus, without this drama, without cameras and reporters and strangers judging every move I make. You could move back into the mansion. Your dad said it's yours. Victoria thought about it. The house where she'd been humiliated, where she'd felt small and invisible. Could she reclaim it? Make it into something new? Maybe. Or maybe I need something different. Something that's just mine. Not Marcus's. Not my father's. Mine. Like what? I don't know yet, but I'll figure it out. They finished their tea, turned off the news, watched a movie neither of them really paid attention to. At midnight, Victoria's phone buzzed one last time. Text from an unknown number. You won. Congratulations, I hope it was worth it. Victoria stared at it. Then she did something she hadn't done in weeks. She laughed. Actually laughed. What's funny? Sarah asked. Marcus. Even from jail, he can't help himself. He has to have the last word. Are you going to respond? Victoria deleted the message, blocked the number. No, he's had enough of my energy. Now he gets nothing. She turned off her phone, lay down, closed her eyes, and for the first time since the night she'd been thrown out in the rain, she slept through the night without nightmares. 2 weeks later, Victoria stood outside the mansion gates, not as someone being thrown out, as someone choosing to walk in. The sentencing had happened 3 days ago. Marcus got 18 months in prison, plus 3 years probation. The courtroom had been quieter that time. Less drama. Just consequences delivered calmly by Judge Morrison. Marcus had cried, apologized to Victoria directly, said he hoped she could forgive him someday. Victoria had sat there feeling nothing. Not anger, not satisfaction, just ready for it to be over. Now the gates opened and she walked through them. Her father waited by the front door. Rosa and Thomas stood beside him, smiling. Welcome home, Ms. Victoria, Rosa said, hugging her tight. I don't know if it's home yet, Victoria admitted, but I'm going to try. The inside was different. Her father had hired people to remove everything Marcus had brought in. The modern furniture, the cold art, the things that screamed wealth but felt empty. What remained was space, potential, a blank canvas. I thought you might want to start fresh, James said. Design it yourself. Make it yours. Victoria walked through the rooms. The foyer where she'd been dragged out. The dining room where Marcus had announced his divorce. The office where he'd stolen her locket. Each room held ghosts. I don't know if I can do this, she said quietly. Every room has a memory. A bad one. Then make new memories, her father said. Better ones. Stronger ones. Memories that matter. Victoria thought about it. Could she really reclaim this place? Turn pain into power? ghosts into peace. I want to hire back all the people Marcus fired, she said suddenly. The 23 employees. If they want to work, I'll hire them. Not for Marcus's company. For something new. Something mine. Her father smiled. What kind of something? I don't know yet. But I'll figure it out. She turned to him. Dad, why did you let me marry him? You knew he was a fraud. You could have stopped it. James was quiet for a long moment. Because you loved him. Or you thought you did. And I couldn't protect you from making your own choices. You were 26, an adult. If I'd forbidden it, you would have resented me. Or married him anyway and not told me. I had to let you learn. That's a hard lesson. The hardest ones usually are. He touched her face gently. But you survived it. You're stronger now than you were before Marcus. Wiser. You know your worth. That's something he could never take from you, even though he tried. Victoria's phone rang. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer, but something made her. Hello. Miss Chen, this is Amanda Foster. From Sterling Development, you remember me? Of course, how are you? Surviving. Listen, I heard through the grapevine that you might be hiring. Is that true? Maybe. I'm still figuring things out. Can I throw my hat in the ring? Whatever you're building, I want to be part of it. We all do. The 23 of us. We've been talking. We know what it's like to work for someone who uses people. We'd like to work for someone who values them. Victoria felt something click into place. What if I told you I wanted to start a nonprofit helping women who've escaped abusive relationships, providing job training, financial literacy, legal support, housing assistance, all the things I wish I'd had when I needed them? Silence. Then Amanda laughed. I'd say, when do we start? Monday, 9 a.m. We'll meet here and figure it out together. After Amanda hung up, Victoria turned to her father. I want to turn part of this mansion into offices. For the foundation. The rest I'll live in. But the house needs to serve a purpose. It needs to mean something. What will you call it? Victoria thought about the night she'd been thrown out. The rain, the darkness, the feeling of being nothing. Then her father's text, it's time. Second foundations, she said. Because sometimes you have to lose your first foundation to build a stronger one. Her father hugged her. Your mother would be so proud. Over the next month, Victoria transformed. Not just the house, herself. She hired contractors to renovate half the mansion into office space. Meeting rooms, computer labs, a resource center. The other half remained her home, but simpler now. Warmer. Books everywhere, plants, things that felt alive. The 23 former Sterling Development employees became her core team. Amanda became her COO. They worked 18-hour days building something real. Something that mattered. 3 months after Marcus went to jail, Second Foundations officially launched. The press coverage was massive. Woman who survived viral humiliation starts foundation to help others. Donations poured in. Not just money, time, expertise. People who'd survived their own Marcus Sterlings wanting to help others escape. Victoria hired Sarah as communications director. Rosa became house manager, overseeing the daily operations. Thomas handled security, making sure women coming to the foundation felt safe. 6 months in, they'd helped 43 women leave abusive relationships, provided housing for 16, job training for 31, legal assistance for all of them. Victoria worked constantly. It kept the ghosts quiet, kept her from thinking too much about what she'd lost, about who she'd been before. One afternoon, her father stopped by. Found her in her office, surrounded by grant applications. When's the last time you took a day off? I don't need days off, I need to work. Victoria. He sat down. You're running from something. I'm not running, I'm building. You can do both. He looked at her carefully. Have you processed any of this, really processed it? Or are you just burying it under work? Victoria's hands stilled on the keyboard. If I stop working, I have to think about it. About how stupid I was. How I missed every red flag. How I let him make me feel worthless. You weren't stupid. You were hopeful. There's a difference. Hopeful people don't end up dragged across marble floors on camera. Hopeful people survive it and build something beautiful from the wreckage. James stood. But you need to heal, sweetheart. Not just work. Actually heal. After he left, Victoria sat alone in her office. Through the window, she could see women arriving for the afternoon workshop. Job interview preparation, resume writing. Small things that could change everything. One woman looked up at the mansion eyes wide, probably thinking the same thing Victoria had thought when she first saw it. I could never belong in a place like this. Victoria walked downstairs, met the woman at the door. Hi, I'm Victoria. I know who you are. I saw the video. The one where… She stopped. Sorry, that was rude. It's okay. Everyone saw it. That's kind of the point now. I survived something terrible, and I'm still here. You will be too. The woman's eyes filled with tears. My husband threw me out last week. Said I was worthless. That I'd never make it without him. Victoria took her hand. Let me tell you something. When someone tells you you're worthless, they're really saying they're terrified you'll discover your worth and leave. Because if you knew how valuable you are, you'd never tolerate how they treat you. Your husband was wrong. You're not worthless. You're here. You survived. That makes you stronger than he'll ever be. The woman hugged her, hard. Thank you. I needed to hear that. Victoria watched her join the workshop, watched her sit straighter, smile more, start to believe she could rebuild. That night, Victoria finally let herself cry. Really cry. Not the angry tears or the scared tears, the grief tears, for the woman she'd been, for the marriage she'd thought she had, for the version of Marcus that never really existed. Sarah found her on the couch, tissues everywhere. You okay? My dad was right. I've been running, working nonstop so I don't have to feel anything. And now you're feeling it. All of it. It hurts so much, Sarah. Not what Marcus did at the end, but realizing the whole thing was a lie. Every moment, every I love you, every promise, it was all performance. I married a stranger who was pretending to be someone real. Sarah sat beside her. Maybe parts of it were real. Maybe he did love you in his broken way. But his love was poisoned by his need to pretend. He loved the idea of you more than the reality. And that's not your fault. That's his tragedy. I keep wondering what I could have done differently. Nothing. You couldn't have loved him into being honest. You couldn't have fixed what was broken in him. You could only survive him. And you did. Victoria wiped her eyes. I'm tired of just surviving. I want to live. Then live. Stop punishing yourself with work. Take a day off. Go see a movie, read a book that's not about trauma recovery. Remember who you were before Marcus. The next day, Victoria did something she hadn't done in months. She took a day off, drove to the beach, sat in the sand, watched the waves, let her mind be empty and quiet. Her phone rang. She almost didn't answer. But it was Isabella Sterling. Victoria, I hope it's okay that I'm calling. It's fine. How are you? Lost, honestly. I visited Marcus yesterday. In prison, he's different, quieter. He spends his time in therapy, apparently, working through his father issues, his need for validation, all the things that turned him into who he became. That's good, I think. He asked about you, asked if you were okay. I told him you started a foundation, that you're helping people. He cried. Isabella paused. He said she turned her pain into purpose and I turned mine into poison. Victoria didn't know what to say. I know you have no reason to care, Isabella continued, but I wanted you to know he's trying, in his way, to understand what he did, to become better. Not for you. He knows that bridge is burned, but for himself, so he doesn't destroy anyone else. I hope he succeeds, Victoria said honestly. I don't forgive him, but I don't wish him harm either. I just wish him growth. After Isabella hung up, Victoria sat watching the waves and thought about forgiveness. People always talked about it like it was a switch you flip. You forgive or you don't. But it was more complicated than that. She could acknowledge Marcus's humanity while also acknowledging his cruelty. She could hope he became better while never wanting him in her life again. She could release the anger without forgetting the lessons. Maybe that was forgiveness, or maybe it was just peace. Either way, she'd take it. 9 months after the trial, Victoria was invited to speak at a women's conference. She almost said no. Public speaking terrified her, but Sarah convinced her. Your story matters. Tell it. The conference center was packed. 300 women, all there to hear about resilience, survival, rebuilding. Victoria stood at the podium looking out at the crowd. I'm not good at this, she started. Public speaking, being vulnerable, admitting I was hurt. But here's what I've learned. Silence protects the people who hurt us. Speaking up protects the people who come after us. She told her story. Not the sanitized version, the real one. The humiliation, the pain, the loss, the rebuilding. She told them about crying in hotel rooms, about being recognized in restaurants, about the comments online, about the days she couldn't get out of bed. But here's the thing, she said. Marcus thought he destroyed me. He thought throwing me out, taking everything, humiliating me publicly would break me forever. And for a while it did break me. But broken things can be repaired. And sometimes they come back stronger than before. She told them about second foundations, about the women they'd helped, about transforming pain into purpose. I'm not telling you this story because I want sympathy. I'm telling you because someone out there is in a relationship right now where they feel worthless, where they're told they're lucky someone tolerates them, where they believe they deserve the cruelty because at least they're not alone. I want that person to know you deserve better. You're worth more, and leaving doesn't make you a failure. Staying would. The standing ovation lasted 3 minutes. Women cried, hugged her after, told their own stories, shared their pain, their survival, their strength. That night, Victoria sat in her bedroom in the mansion and realized something. She wasn't Marcus's victim anymore. She wasn't defined by what he'd done. She was Victoria Chen, survivor, builder, woman who'd turned her worst moment into her greatest purpose. 1 year after the trial, Marcus was released early for good behavior. 18 months became 12. Victoria found out from a news alert on her phone. She felt nothing. Not fear, not anger, just nothing. He was a stranger now, someone she used to know. Someone who'd taught her hard lessons about trust and worth and survival. Her phone rang 2 days later. Unknown number. She debated answering. Did. Victoria. Marcus's voice. Older, tired. Please don't hang up. I know I don't deserve your time, but I wanted to say something. Face to face would be better, but I know that's not possible. So this will have to do. She didn't speak, just listened. I destroyed you because I was destroying myself. I made you small because I felt small. I hurt you because I was hurting and I didn't know how to stop the bleeding except to make someone else bleed too. None of that excuses what I did. Nothing excuses it. But I want you to know I understand now. What I took from you. What I tried to break. And I want you to know it didn't work. You're not broken, you never were. I was the broken one. I still am. But I'm trying to fix it. Not for you, you owe me nothing, but for the next person. So I don't poison anyone else the way I poisoned you. Victoria found her voice. Are you apologizing? I'm acknowledging. Apologizing feels too small for what I did. Like saying sorry for murder. The word doesn't fit the crime. So I'm just acknowledging. I hurt you. I betrayed you. I tried to destroy you. And you survived me. More than survived. You transcended me. You took what I meant for evil and turned it into good. That's who you are. That's who you always were. I just couldn't see it because I was too busy trying to make you see me. Why are you calling me Marcus? Because my therapist says I need to make amends, but not for me, for you. So you know that what happened wasn't your fault. You didn't deserve it. You didn't cause it. You didn't fail. I failed. I failed you. I failed us. I failed myself. And I'm sorry. Not because I want anything from you. Not because I think sorry fixes anything. But because you deserve to hear it. From me. Without excuses, without blame. Just truth. Victoria was quiet for a long moment. Thank you for saying that. I mean it. But Marcus, we can never speak again. You understand that, right? This call, it's closure. Not a beginning. An ending. I know, I do. I just hope someday you can forgive me. Not for me. For you. So you can be free of it all. I already am free. That's what you don't understand. You didn't keep me trapped. Your actions did hurt me. They did change me, but they didn't define me. I defined myself. After you. In spite of you. Because of what I survived from you. So forgiveness, maybe someday. But freedom, I already have that. I had it the moment I realized you had no power over me anymore. She hung up, blocked the number, sat there feeling lighter than she had in months. Sarah came in. Was that him? Yeah. You okay? I'm perfect. Victoria smiled. Actually perfect. He called wanting closure, wanting to apologize, wanting me to forgive him so he could feel better about himself. And I realized I don't care if he feels better. I care that I feel better. And I do. Finally. 2 years after being thrown out of the mansion, Victoria stood in the same foyer. But this time she was surrounded by 50 women. Not guests at a party. Women who'd come through second foundations. Women who'd escaped, who'd survived, who'd rebuilt. They were celebrating the foundation's second anniversary, celebrating 97 women helped, 83 who'd left abusive relationships, 64 who'd found jobs, 41 who'd returned to school. Numbers that meant lives changed, futures reclaimed, power restored. Victoria's father stood beside her. You did this, all of this. I gave you a house. You turned it into a home for people who'd lost theirs. We did this. You, me, Sarah, Amanda, Rosa, Thomas, everyone here. We all did this together. But you let it. You took your pain and weaponized it into protection for others. That's strength, Victoria. Real strength. Amanda approached with a young woman Victoria hadn't met. Victoria, this is Jennifer. She came to us 3 weeks ago. She wants to tell you something. Jennifer was nervous. Young. Maybe 25. Ms. Chen, I just wanted to say thank you. My boyfriend threw me out 2 months ago. Took everything I owned, told everyone I was crazy, worthless. I saw your video. The one from 2 years ago. And I thought if she survived that, maybe I can survive this. So I came here. And you helped me. Got me a job, an apartment, a lawyer, my life back. Because of you, I'm free. Victoria hugged her. You freed yourself. I just opened the door. You walked through it. But you built the door. After someone slammed yours in your face. That's the bravest thing I've ever heard. As the celebration continued, Victoria slipped outside to the garden. The roses Thomas tended were blooming. The fountain played softly. Everything was peaceful. Her phone buzzed. Text from an unknown number. I saw the article about your foundation. You're doing beautiful work. I'm proud of you. I hope that's okay to say. M. Victoria stared at it. She could respond, thank him, accept his acknowledgement, or she could do what she'd been doing for 2 years. Choose herself first. She deleted the message, blocked the number, not out of anger, out of self-preservation. Marcus's approval didn't matter anymore. His pride didn't matter. His guilt didn't matter. Only her peace mattered. Only her work mattered. Only the women she could help mattered. She walked back inside to the celebration, to the women who'd survived, to the team who'd built something impossible, to her father who'd protected her, to Sarah who'd stood beside her, to the life she'd created from the ashes of the life that burned. 3 years later, Victoria stood at a podium again, this time at a national conference. Second Foundations had expanded to 5 cities, helped over 300 women, changed hundreds of lives. People ask me all the time if I've forgiven him, Victoria said to the crowd of 1,000. They want a neat ending, a redemption story. They want me to say I've let go of all the anger and I wish him well and we're both better people now. But here's the truth. Forgiveness isn't a light switch. It's not something you flip once and you're done. It's a process. Some days I'm angry. Some days I'm sad. Some days I feel nothing at all. And all of those feelings are valid. She paused, looked out at the faces watching her. What I have found is peace. Not with him, but with myself. Peace in knowing I survived something that was meant to destroy me. Peace in knowing I took that pain and turned it into purpose. Peace in knowing that the man who called me worthless was wrong. Dead wrong. Because my worth isn't determined by who recognizes it. My worth is inherent. It exists whether anyone sees it or not. And once I understood that truly understood it, I was free. The applause was deafening. After the conference, Victoria flew home. Back to the mansion that had seen her lowest moment and her highest triumph. Back to the place that had been a prison and became a sanctuary. She walked through the quiet halls, past the offices where her team worked, past the meeting rooms where women found hope, past the resource center where futures were rebuilt. She ended up in her bedroom, her private space. She'd kept one thing from before, her grandmother's locket. The police had recovered it from Marcus's belongings when he went to jail. It sat on her dresser now. A reminder. Victoria picked it up, opened it. Inside was a photo of her grandmother. Strong face, kind eyes, survived the Great Depression, raised 4 children alone after her husband died, built a life from nothing. I understand now, Victoria whispered. Why you never talked about how hard it was. You were too busy being strong to complain about the weight. I get it now. I finally get it. She put the locket on, looked at herself in the mirror. She looked different than she had 3 years ago. Older, yes, but stronger, wiser, more herself. Her phone rang. Dad. Hey, sweetheart. How was the conference? Good. Really good. I'm home now. I'm proud of you. Your mother would be too. I know. Victoria smiled. Dad, thank you. For everything. For letting me make my own mistakes. For being there when I fell. For helping me stand back up. For teaching me that real power doesn't announce itself. It just is. That's all I ever wanted for you. To know your own power, to trust yourself, to understand you don't need anyone's permission to be extraordinary. You just are. After they hung up, Victoria walked to her window, looked out at the city lights. Somewhere out there, Marcus was probably sleeping in a small apartment. Working some job he felt was beneath him, trying to rebuild. Or maybe not. Maybe he was still blaming everyone else for his choices. She didn't know, didn't care. Somewhere out there, women were being told they were worthless, being controlled, being hurt, being thrown away. And tomorrow, some of them would find second foundations, would walk through the doors Victoria had opened with her pain, would discover they weren't alone, weren't worthless, weren't without options. That was legacy. Not the viral video, not the trial, not the headlines, but the quiet work of turning suffering into salvation. That was what mattered. Victoria Chen had walked into a mansion as a bride believing she'd found her fairy tale. She'd been thrown out of that mansion believing she'd lost everything. But standing here now, 3 years later, she understood the truth. She hadn't lost everything that night. She'd lost the lies. The performance, the version of herself that tried to be small enough to fit someone else's expectations. What she'd found was infinitely more valuable herself. Her strength, her worth, her purpose. Marcus had called the mansion his, had screamed it as he shoved her toward the door, had believed it with every fiber of his being. But he'd been wrong. The house belonged to her father. The future belonged to the women they helped. And the only thing that truly belonged to Marcus was the consequences of his choices. Victoria touched the locket at her throat, felt the weight of her grandmother's strength, her father's protection, her own survival. And she smiled. Not because she'd won some battle, but because she'd discovered something Marcus would never understand. True power isn't about what you own. It's about who you become when everything you thought was yours gets stripped away. It's about standing in the rubble of your old life and deciding to build something better. It's about taking the worst thing that ever happened to you and transforming it into the best thing you ever did for someone else. Marcus had thrown her out believing she was nothing. But nothing doesn't build foundations. Nothing doesn't change lives. Nothing doesn't survive and thrive and transcend. Victoria wasn't nothing. She never had been. She was everything she needed to be. Everything she'd always been. She just finally knew it. And that knowledge, that unshakable certainty of her own worth, was something no one could ever take from her again.